approach me. I don't know you like my folks do. I get paid for online money trading. Thoughts that keep me wavy and I'm faded. Maybe jaded, like a missing, I misplace it. And no talking if no missions or decisions. Make no wishes. Popping the heat, shit just got real spicy. No solicitor, stop listening. Over there, you can really just fight me. Y'all gonna be popping the heat, shit just got real spicy. No solicitor, stop listening. Over there, you can really just fight me. In this world, ain't no contest to win. They will come for your dog, not your friend. They will try to sink your boat, competition. They will leave you just to blow our decision.
What's good, Shan? What's up, YouTube? So it's your girl, Queen Omara. Y'all know what we doing. Today I have another podcast to do. It is called Trauma to Triumph. It is by and hosted by one of the best hosts that I've ever met. I've been on her platform twice. She has two. One is called Spotlight Over the City. I mean, it's so badass, like, for what they're doing. But now she's doing another platform called Trauma to Triumph, which allows women to go on there and speak about how they took their trauma and turned it into triumph, or, you know. And I'm so honored to be on there. So y'all see me before, and once I get ready, I'm gonna set up my camera and everything. When we get started, y'all just gonna see me talking, you know, with Terri. I'll tag both of her page, or three. She has 3 pages. One for her Spotlight Over the City, one for her Trauma to Triumph, and her main page. I will tag all of that in the description below. Again, I will make that statement at the end of this video, so stay tuned.
Y'all, hi everybody. Hey Natalia. Hello everybody. Welcome to another episode of Trauma to Triumph Tuesdays. Today I've got an amazing young lady. She's only 21. She's only 21 years old. But I wanted her to share her story with you all because there are so many young people who struggle with one of the things that she's going to talk about, bipolar disorder. People don't like to talk about it. People avoid it. People joke about it. But it is very serious for many people. So I'm waiting for the queen. Her name is Queen Omara. And I'm waiting for her to jump on. Hey everybody, for those of you all who are the first time joining or first time watching me, first of all, let me say thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in. I want this to become bigger and bigger. So if you can click that little thing down there in the bottom of your screen, it's a little like arrow type of thing. And guess what it allows you to do, y'all? It allows you to share it. I think it allows you to tell people that you're on, like, you know, at least just share it with one person for me. That would be really helpful and appreciative. There's the queen. She's joining y'all. So listen, let me introduce myself one more time. For those of you who this is your first time, I am Terri Long. I am the creator of the T2T project, and that stands for Trauma to Triumph. So trauma, the number 2, Triumph. We have a YouTube channel. Please follow me on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be posting a story every Tuesday, and it's going to become a big deal, you all. So let me pull in the queen. Queen, how do we, let's see. I figured this out last week, how you ask someone to join. Oh, do you see it live? Let me see. So you go to, hey y'all, wait. And I'm just so up here.
Hi, Terri.
Hey everybody, one second. Open, you got mama, and then go to the live. Okay. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, y'all. I'm sorry. Hey, Queen.
Hi, how's it going?
How are you? You look amazing.
Thank you. So do you. I love the colors.
Thank you so much. We were at the festival all weekend long, so my hair was, you know, I had to do something creative and work out, girl. Thank you so much for joining tonight. I was introducing myself to everyone, letting everyone know I am Terri Long, the founder, creator of the project, and it stands for trauma. Number 2, triumph.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to start a movement, and we're going to heal millions and millions of women through our stories. I'm getting some feedback, and I don't know if that's me or you. But if you can, okay, I want to get started. A little introduction about you. Join, but I want you to go ahead and introduce yourself, and then I want you to just dive into your story about trauma, and then we will talk about the other side of things and where you are in life now.
Mm-hmm. Okay. First and foremost, I want to say thank you. You know, you guys, every time I come on a platform of or just Spotlight Over the City, or even now, it's like the genuine love that you guys have for people in general is just out of this world. So I just want to say congratulations on the movement, just stepping out there. I really appreciate it. And just first and foremost, my name is Queen Omara. If you haven't met me, I'm 21. I am now self-managed and self-produced.
Yay!
Just, yeah, you guys met me when I was under a label. So, but one thing about me, and I'll just start here, is that it took me a while to accept that a lot of the things that we do in life, a lot of the decisions, things that we get into are a lot to do with ourselves, the things that we allow be put on us, the environments, and if in order to change, you have to take accountability. And for a long time, especially with mental health, you know, we don't, what's mental health? You know, especially in the Black community, a lot of people don't take the initiative to see or seek help because they think mental health is oblivious. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't at all exist. And coming from a family where I know a lot of beings like myself, where I'm bipolar type 2, manic depressive. I got diagnosed a year or two ago. And not to put myself in a category or a label, but when you notice signs, you notice behaviors, like things like being excessive or being impulsive, explosive, like being hot-headed or things like that. Like, those things are not natural responses, because, you know, it's unhealthy to just not think about your action and just blow up, you know? And for a while, a lot of people would say, oh, that's just you taking the initiative to, oh, you know, stand your ground. Like, you don't have to be explosive, though. You don't have to be dangerous, though. You don't have to do things without thinking about it. So when I noticed things like that, that's where I went and sought help. And I found out about my disorder, and knowing about it, being aware about something, it allows you to get the correct healing and the correct help. Because, not saying I'm on medication, because I'm not. All of the healing that I got, or the help, was natural. I go through therapy every week. I burn my candles, which we'll talk about. I do yoga, I exercise, I eat healthy, like, and those things help me to kind of like not mask those type of those bad traits, but to help me mellow it out. Because it's not always my way isn't always right. I had to learn that too. Like, just because I know something don't mean it's correct. It doesn't mean that it's the right way to go through things. It's not. So I had to really step out of my own way and get the help that I needed, because I started noticing, like, even with the people I had around me, it's like, this is not helping me. This is really just making it worse.
So let's question, Queen.
Mm-hmm.
Before you were diagnosed with bipolar disorder, what are some of the things that you feel like impacted your life negatively before you even knew that's what it was? Like, what were some of the things you feel like, you know, as a teenager or as a child, a young adult, that impacted you negatively, and you have an idea of what it was?
Well, this will be the first time I'm talking about this in public. Self-harm. Being really, like, hard on myself because of what's this? It's a constant reminder. Like, it's not, what am I trying to say? Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. Okay. Just being so, I don't want to say that. Okay, yeah. Just being hard on myself, because a lot of times we do critique ourselves, but when it comes to a point where you're hurting yourself, like doing things that you wouldn't want anyone to do to themselves or to do to you. Like when I've went through self-harm from 16 to about the beginning of this year was like the last straw for me. And that was me completing my therapy where I got out of that. So that was one of the big things. Like, if I'm capable of hurting myself, and my therapist told me this, like, if you are capable of hurting yourself, imagine all the people you're allowing to hurt you. And you're putting up with it. And I started noticing that from family to friends, like how verbally abusive they were to me. And then even going through physical abusive relationships, like I'm noticing the pattern, big pattern, that I was catering and always needing to be with someone who was not good for me. And only because I thought it was right. Like self-harm for a while, no one told me that was not the right way. And I never opened up to anybody about it. So that was one of the biggest things for me.
Self-harm, hurting yourself, and allowing others to harm you because
Mm-hmm.
you felt like, you know what, this is what it do. I harm my own self, so it's normal for me to allow someone else to harm me too.
Yeah. And
That,
it's a big pill to swallow. Like, no one wants to admit that they allow others to hurt them. Like, you think that these people care for you, so you don't want it. You know, we don't want to admit it to ourselves. And I think that's one big thing is like, it's important. Like, it's very important to be aware of those type of things.
so do you feel like you normalized it? We have someone who said, we started to normalize it. And it's
Yes.
normal when you're being abusive to yourself and then you start allowing others to abuse.
Yes.
Did you fall in that as well?
Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. Because, like I said, especially in the Black community, we don't want to admit when there's something in our minds that isn't right. Like, we are oblivious. You know, we're like, when I first told my family about my bipolar disorder, not to put a bad name, they were just like, "Girl, ain't nothing wrong with you. You just going through life." Like, what? You think me hurting myself is normal? Like, what? Like, it's crazy. And it's not saying everybody got mental health issues, but it's just one shift of the mind. Like, one shift where I could just say, oh, let me love myself. Let me love on myself instead of hating on myself because of my past mistakes. You know?
Wow, wow. What pushed you to the point of saying, or like, what made you go get diagnosed? Like, how did that come out? How did you become diagnosed with bipolar disorder? What made you even go out?
So I had, and my brother, he went first. And we used to joke about it, like, towards our dad. We used to be like, man, he's crazy. Like, he has a mental health. Like, we used to say, like, we used to joke about it a lot. So when my brother actually went, I was like, oh, whoa, like, that shocked me. So I was like, well, let me go get checked out. Like, because now I'm afraid, because I learned that it was, you can get it from, if someone like your dad or your uncle or someone in your family, it can be hereditary. It's like common for
Okay.
that. So
Bipolar disorder, what you're saying is that it can run down it's generational. So if your dad
yes.
is bipolar, it's possible that you would be that way as well.
Very, I'm not sure how common it is, but talking to a doctor, I heard that you can take on that gene if it's in your family. Like, and
Did you have
that's when,
calling you crazy? Like, do you remember times or people were like, you're crazy and you didn't know that it was bipolar? Did you ever get labeled as like, you're crazy?
oh yeah, Oh yeah, I mean, even my mom, honestly, I love her to death. You know, my mom is very supportive now, understanding and stuff. She would tell me all the time, "You're just so moody. Like, why are you like this? Like, you be here and down, and it don't be like it's." People think it's a fluctuation in mood, but it's literally what. So like, say if I come in and I'm happy, and then something happens and I'm sad, the it's me coming all the way down, like just just being depressed over something so little, like. And I just thought it was just like you could just on and off, on and off, on. No, it's literally how you move through your moods and how you let your moods dictate what you do. Like when I would get sad, I would do self-harm, or when I get angry, I would be drinking excessively, like things like that. Like it's it's so many types that you wouldn't even know that so many people are like that, and so many people are like. Knowing myself now, it's like I see a lot of individuals that actually need to talk to somebody because I see traits.
Well, before you go on, and I don't make fun of mental health because it is a serious topic, but
Mm-hmm.
we have I've been guilty of it. I've been guilty of labeling people with bipolar.
Mm-hmm.
I've probably labeled my husband bipolar.
Yeah.
You hear people say it all the time. Oh, he
Mm-hmm.
has bipolar. But really, it's a real thing. It
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, and so when you're diagnosed with that, let's go to the point after you got diagnosed with being bipolar.
Mm-hmm.
What changes did you immediately have, or were you advised to make, to balance yourself? Like what's the treatment? What's the process for that? Once someone tells you, okay, you have this, then what?
Well, they give us an option to go, either you go get therapy or you take medication. So what I told myself is that from past, relation or past life mistakes, I learned that I didn't want to go down the route of taking medication because as a youngin or younger woman, I fell into the excessiveness of taking pills that weren't, needed, and that's another thing that I want to talk to young girls about, because that excessive trait is like, we'll get there. But knowing that I didn't want to take medication, I went ahead and told myself, like, I'm gonna X out anything that is extra, anything that is not needed. So I quit drinking. I partake in marijuana, which is actually, it helps. I heard there's studies that went on it, so I didn't
The
cancel that out. But
the natural plant.
exactly. So, and it actually helps people with bipolar or depression or anxiety. So I just felt like that was helping me. I stopped with the friends, going out for no reason, doing things just because. I started, planning out my days. I started, because I knew how excessive I get. How something so little I can start doing over and over. So I had to start planning my time accordingly. Like I needed to make sure I was going down the right path, because I'm so prone to fall into lanes that I don't even need to be in. So that was one thing that I stopped immediately, was the drinking and doing things just because. Like I really had to calm down, like
So do you
completely.
feel like the drinking, and you have mentioned excessiveness with pills, do you feel like those types of things were you made those choices to try to balance out your mental stability
Um,
before that it was bipolar disorder?
yeah, I definitely think that I never knew. So a lot of the fluctuation, it came from me not knowing, or not saying not knowing, but because I didn't know, I was just thinking that I'm just, oh, let me mute something, let me make this feel better, because I'm just thinking I'm sad right now. And now looking back, it's like, oh, that's why I did that, because I didn't know what I was going through. Like I didn't know, like, this is not natural, like this is something that. And honestly, the pills and the drinking made it worse. because it's a bipolar disorder is a chemical imbalance in your brain. It's literally when you're, because we have chemicals in our brains, the endorphins and things like that. Those are chemicals in our brains that we have naturally, that we produce naturally. So, no, you're fine. Learning that, sorry, I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. It's
But
perfect.
learning that, I had to quickly make a change, like for myself, because I knew after learning that we do have chemicals, and drinking and pills can produce chemicals that we don't need, like, or it'll allow us not to feel the things that we need to feel naturally, could make it worse. So I do think that those things were trying, those, I try to make those a coping mechanism, but it made it worse. It made it 10 times worse for me.
Wow. Okay. So you're not on medication for it, but you are doing mental health therapy, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And how's that going?
Pretty well. It's going very well. And I also started a candle business for natural wellness. All of them are natural in the sense that I picked out. They are prone to improvement in brain function.
Wow.
So yeah, and I had to study months to get like the detail and everything. Like I studied like almost 5 to 6 months on them because I wanted it to be almost perfect. Like I wanted it to actually work, because I don't think we need pills. I really don't need. We don't need all that extra chemical. We don't need a chemical to help another chemical. That doesn't make sense to me. I
Okay.
feel like everything should be natural.
And so you decided, what made you decide to help treat your bipolar disorder, you would come up with this candle line? Like how did that come about?
I think after time and time of people thinking that is not real, and seeing so many, you see so many celebrities now are coming out saying they have depression or they're depressive, and you're like, oh wow, I go through that. And you're like, but like, what's going on? Why is no one talking about this? Why is nobody trying to help nobody? It's hard because first you got to admit that you got a problem. You have to admit that there's something wrong in your head, and then you got to allow others to either try to help you or make you feel bad about it. And it's so messed up that it shouldn't even be like that. People should be so giving to helping. Like, I don't understand. And I wanted to be someone like that. I wanted to be someone of that.
Yeah. So and you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but I ask everyone this, like, are you spiritual? Do you have a belief in a high?
Yes, ma'am. I honestly, I would say that God has truly, truly, like, I can't even explain how God has gotten me out of so much. Like, even leaving the label that I was with, because we were personal too. So even leaving all of that, I had to leave a lot behind, and I had to give it to God. Truly, I had to leave so much music, so much memories, everything, my hometown, just to get out of a toxic, because that wasn't even helping me either. So I had to let go
Wow.
and let God. Truly, truly, truly.
Okay. And so where are we now? Let's talk about where are we now, and how we can help some other young women, other young girls who
Mm,
who they may not have been diagnosed yet with anything.
yeah,
They be
yeah.
going through. What are some of the signs that some of these young teenage girls, or some of the parents can look for in their
Mhm.
teenagers to understand some of the things that you went through? What are some of
Okay. Um, any child or young adult who's very impulsive, they don't think before they do things. They don't think before they speak or think before they act. That is one of the most like potent traits of that. Like, because we think before we do things, but you either think about it before or after you do it. And that thinking about it is like what is the outcome of this if I do this? Like, literally, if you can see somebody just moving through life, not thinking at all of what they're doing, that's a trait. And excessiveness, like that, you do one little thing and now it's everything you do. Like, or like caffeine or something. Like, if you have an addiction or something, addictive personalities, that's what it's called. If you get prone to being sticking to stuff that you know is not really good for you, but you keep doing it, that's another trait. Like, I would say, what else? Just being negative, self-negative talk. When someone says, yeah, you can do it, and you're like, girl, I can't do that. Like, little things like that. Being hard on yourself, overly hard on yourself. That's another trait.
Okay. And so mental health therapy is helping you.
Oh, yes.
What's the name of your candle line?
It is called Oma. It's a nickname that I had for a long time. People knew me by Ari, and then I just mixed it with aroma, so it's Oma.
Okay.
LLC. And you can find that on my profile. It'll be in my bio. I have a separate page for it. I just launched it in April. Even that, like, I'm not trying to put my business out there, but I was broke trying to start this business. Like, I didn't care if it was gonna blow up or anything. And that was another thing God showed me. Like, when he wants you to do something, he will make sure you will get there and do everything you gotta do. So
say that part again.
If God wants you to get somewhere, he will make sure you get there, no matter what. And he has definitely showed me that there's a God and there's a way. I'm too blessed.
One step, you have to do your part. Like, so, because
Yes.
he's not a magician.
Oh, yeah.
You take one step and you see what he's been doing, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Exactly. And you keep him first, and
Yes.
you to see more of that. You know that, right?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
And so what are some things that you can talk to us about that you have incorporated into your life other than the candles and therapy that help balance out your life and help balance out your mental stability? I want you to, talk a little bit about how you plan to manage this bipolar disorder, because that's not something that you should have to claim for the rest of your life. How are you going to manage that so that they're going to come a point where Queen Omara can say, that's something that the doctor said that I had. That's not who I am.
Yeah. Self-love. I told God, being an advocate or someone who's been through self-harm, I told myself, like, I have to love myself. Like, before I can even just give myself to anybody, like, I need to love myself. That has been my goal. Like, even when I wake up and I don't want to do nothing, I tell myself I have to love myself. If I want anybody to love me, if I want any good in life, because I never knew about self-love. No one taught. You can teach, you can show people, but it was never that important in my household to love on yourself. That was called selfish, and I don't think that is selfish. I keep that in the front of my mind, is that I do love myself.
It's absolutely not selfish to love yourself. You have to love yourself first.
Yeah.
Give it to others.
Yes.
I learned that myself as well. Like, I have always had a tough time loving myself. I mean, I wasn't, aware that, what, I gotta be okay first.
Yes. Yes.
I'm still learning. It's not something that comes easy for me. I am naturally wired to make sure everyone else in the world is okay.
Right.
At the expense of me. That's natural for me. But I'm trying to practice a little bit more now. I'm trying to practice putting myself first. Right? And the more I do it, the more I understand that when I'm refreshed, when I'm whole, when I'm feeling at my best, I can give that. I can give all that to those that I love. I can give a little bit more, actually, than I was giving, because I wasn't putting myself first, and I was wearing myself out, wearing myself thin. Again, I still struggle with that part, but I have learned that loving on yourself is not selfish. It's
Yeah.
actually absolutely necessary.
Ooh, thank you
Yes.
for that. Yeah,
Yes.
definitely. Definitely.
Trust your dopeness says selfish is negative when it is self-centered. Yes.
Oh, amen. Amen to that.
Not- When it's not self-centered, it is not a negative thing at all.
Hmm.
Thank you so much for sharing that part because
Yeah.
that is really important. Let me see if there's some other comments. Some people, if
Sure.
anyone has any questions for Queen Omara, please let us know
Yes.
if you have any questions for her. Untroubled Drama says, if we love ourselves, we are less likely to put up with unhealthy
Ooh,
others. That is
that
so
is, oh
true.
man. Come on. That is so true.
It
Very true.
takes 40 some years to learn that though. And it actually, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you all. It also took me to have a husband like who I have now to show me the proper way that, you know, you're supposed to be loved on and the proper way that you're supposed to love on
Yeah.
others.
Mm.
If you're not loved the right way, it can screw you up.
Yes. Yes. Very, yes.
So, Queen, I appreciate you. So you have no idea how much I appreciate you and appreciate you being 21 years old, man. And
Yeah.
you have the maturity of someone way beyond 21 just
I
because
appreciate
you're
that.
ageist enough to talk about something that has had a negative stigma for so long, and
Yeah.
especially community. Like I said, people joke about bipolar. People say, "Oh, you must be bipolar." They don't really, even me, don't take into consideration that there are people who really are diagnosed with this for real
Yeah.
thing, right? And
Hmm.
it's not real. It's not a joking matter when you come across someone like yourself who said, "Wait a minute, I really have been diagnosed."
Right.
Not a joke, right? But
Hmm.
said that is not who you are. That's
Yes.
that's not who you are. And you're doing things in your life now. Do you want to talk a little bit about your singing career?
Oh yeah. Yes. I recently got dropped from the label because of whatever. And I'm now self-managed and self-produced. I am making my own beats. I have bought my own equipment. And that was another thing too. I thought that leaving that situation, I wasn't going to be able to do music again. Because I had relied on the label for so long that I didn't have equipment. I didn't have nothing. But I asked God, I was like, if this is something you really want me to do, I know you're going to provide for me. And he has. I don't know how he did it. He got me a laptop. I have a home studio now, and I just been working on that. Next month in July or August, my birthday, I want a EP to drop, but you know, with timing and everything, since I'm doing everything myself now, I don't know. So I'm not gonna give no dates or anything like that. But yeah, I am definitely working on a new EP and just talking about it, talking about what I experienced, just because that's the only way I know is music. Literally has been my first way out. Has
And
always been my positive. Music is a therapy too, and I learned that frequencies are very important. The music we listen to, it dictates what we do. you're
honey,
putting you're putting messages in your brain. Like, I took it so much more serious knowing about myself and how prone I was to doing things like. So yes, my music is still on board, and I'm out in Jersey now. I'm not in Maryland anymore. So
wow.
yeah.
Dopeness says, once you listen, this is good, good. Once you love on yourself, you pay attention to how mates should love you. We
Mm,
often pay attention to how they love other people, but how they love you is different. Spend
yes.
time with him. You know who him is. Spend
Yes.
God. Selfish uninterrupted time with him will allow,
Mm,
open the path for him to bless us.
amen.
A word right there. We can end
Amen.
with just that right there. That's a word. That's a whole
Yes.
word right there.
Yep. Amen to that.
And to that, spend more time with him.
Yes.
uninterrupted time with him will allow us to open the path for him to bless us.
Amen. Amen.
Amen, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, I want to say thank you so much, Queen Omara, for sharing your story.
No problem.
The story will be up on the Trauma to Triumph YouTube channel. So those of you who are watching, please subscribe to the Trauma to Triumph YouTube channel. This story will be posted up there tonight, along with the one we did last week. It was an amazing story last week. We've got some amazing stories coming up every Tuesday. We're going to be doing this with another woman. And let me tell you something. Last week, I had so many people to come to me in my inbox and in my emails saying, oh, the conversation helped them. And already gotten someone who pinged me to say that you sharing your story is helping them to understand what their teenage daughter is going through. So you just never know who's listening. You never know who you can reach. You know, I always say, if I get one person every week who say we help them or we minister to them through our stories, then it's worth it. It's worth the time that we sit down and do this. It's worth our energy. It's worth our candidates. I mean, because this is not the easiest thing for you to do, to come on someone's live and say, I have bipolar disorder, traumatic, and that you were abused, you let someone mistreat you, abuse you, you abused yourself. Those aren't easy things to come out and talk about. But that's the way that we're going to be able to reach other people. That's the only, because everyone is not as courageous. So God will use people like you and me and these other women to come out and talk about these types of things that are uncomfortable for people. Yes. We want people that are listening to be healed. That's the whole point. We want to be a tribe of women to say, we've all been through something. I've never been through bipolar disorder, but I've been through something. I've been right? So, there are other things that I can relate to. There are things that you can relate to that I can't. And so with us together in this, we're going to do some amazing things. Yes. And you are part of the TIK project now. So again, this is going to be on the YouTube channel. The website is up, but the website is only active for those to submit stories. But in about 2 weeks, the website is going to be live with not only the form to submit stories, but we're going to have our Instagram lives posted on the website. We're also going to have a chat room where we can just talk as women about the things that we're going through. So these are all the things that are coming up with this Trauma to Triumph project. We're going to be filming some women in a TV production studio. We are also going to do some conferences. So I would ask, for you to be a part of any type of conference, because we want all of us to be a part of it. And we're just going to start a movement, Queen Omara. We're going to really, and I appreciate having someone like you as part of the project, because again, you're 21. I'm 51. Look at the big difference in age.
What? Terri, you do not look. Oh my gosh, what?
I am.
What, Terri?
I'll be 52 July 3rd. Yes.
What? You do not look it at all, girl.
Thank you so much. You're so sweet.
No problem.
Thank you. I feel it.
I know that's right.
So yes, if anyone else watching, I thank you and I appreciate you for watching. I hope that we were able to touch your life today, kind of way. And I want you all to continue watching every Tuesday at 8:30. We're going to go live, and look for things in between Tuesdays, because I'm going to be putting things out there to let you all know how this project is growing, how it's going, and and continue to soar. You are such a beautiful young woman. For those of you all who don't know, I didn't mention this in the beginning of today's but I am the co-host of Spotlight Over the City. It is an amazing show that I do with my amazing husband every Thursday from 7 to 8:30. And Queen Omara has been a guest twice on Spotlight Over the City, providing her talent. She's an amazing artist. She's super creative. Very, very, we didn't talk much about that part. all to know that she is phenomenally talented on that her microphone, and she will show you what it do.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. So she is not just making candles, and she's not just having a pretty face. She's also very talented, you all.
Thank you so much.
Anybody have any questions before we end this Instagram live? I want to look and make sure that we don't have any questions. Nope, I don't think there are any more questions on here. So thanks again. And
Thank you.
have a great night. And I'll see y'all again next Tuesday, 8:30. Next week, we have another amazing woman. I can't tell you yet what we're going to be talking about, but it's good. It's really good. So give us the site again for the candles. So they want to know how they can get all to support her candles. I need you to send me one because I can have one burning while I'm doing my
Will do.
I can tell people to buy them. I can help get that out there. So tell them how they can support your candles.
Okay, so again, if you go into my bio now, I have a page. It's right there. Like you can't miss it. It's called Ariamo Therapy Candles. I don't know the URL off the top of my head, so I'm not going to sit here and butcher. But if you go to my bio, it is right there in my description. So go ahead, just click on that. Click on the link. You can get it from my link tree, or you can get it from the actual page.
And real quick again, Queen.
Thank you, Shadana.
What are the scents? Like you said, the scents are for different moods. Can you tell me about that?
Oh, sure. I have lemon. I have lemongrass. I have rosemary. I have tea tree. I have lavender. I have.
And so tell me, give me an example of like, like if my mood is, I don't know, sad. What's a good scent for to like lift me up?
The orange candle. Orange is called the pleasant fragrance, but orange naturally. Now we know orange, if you eat an orange, it gives you energy, but if you smell it, what it does for your brain, it'll allow you a happy, endorphins is what what controls our happy chemical. So that orange candle or the rosemary, sit up there.
Okay.
So those two candles, they produce relaxation as well. It'll allow you to let go of the stress, because when you are sad, when you are angry, that chemical, it takes a hold of you. It literally can make you feel sick. So those two candles will allow you to let it go. The orange candle produces happiness, of course, I said that. And then the rosemary, it produces relaxation. So those two candles, it's a pleasant fragrance and the exotic fragrance are the orange and the rosemary candle. Okay,
I love it. Someone said we spell it. It's spelled ARIOMA. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
ARIOMA.
And it's tagged as well. One of my cousins just tagged it in the live.
See that? I'm gonna put a heart by it right there. How do you pin? Okay, there it is. I just pinned it, you all. So you all can tag the candle company Instagram page.
Yes.
All for doing that. And thank you all so much. I love y'all. We have a tribe, and we're going to continue to grow bigger and bigger.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for having me. Take care.
All right.
Thank you guys for watching. I have changed, and I'm getting ready to, lay on down. But thank you again. And again, knowing about your mental health is important. Getting diagnosed was one of the most important things I did for myself, because when you are unaware, just understand, you even being unaware about yourself, how now when you're unaware, people around you are unaware. And they don't even know how to treat you. They don't even know how to go about it, because they don't understand that you're going through things, that things are different for you, that it is possible that things could be difficult and different for you. Because me, I struggle a lot, even just in my past relationships, in my family, and being in relationships with my family. Like, I noticed like how it took a toll on everything, every single thing, even how I treated myself. Like, opening up about this type of stuff was hard for me because I thought people were gonna look at me like I want pity, and I'm not asking for anybody's pity, not asking for no money, not asking for nothing. I just want people to know that it is real, that people go through life trauma within themselves. Like, doing self-harm is trauma. It's traumatizing that you could even, do something to yourself and that you're okay with it. And I had to learn that it's that me telling people are just so they're aware of me, that they know that I'm not to be treated in any type of way, and even may need to be treated, I need to be handled with care because I'm fragile, like I've learned this about myself, that I want to be handled and treated with care and with the utmost respect. And if I had to learn to love myself so I could give that, and so people could see how they to treat me, so that is just me giving y'all the, opening up, my world into y'all world, because it's not easy. That is not easy, admitting things like that, and admitting that I've caused a lot of things to myself, letting people treat me the way they treat me and being okay with it. Like, and I've learned that I'm okay, that I've accepted that I've been through that, and that I'm not going to be there no more. I'm not dealing with it no more. Verbal abuse and self-negative talk, how that goes hand in hand. Like, I'm not verbal abuse from other people, because you negative self-talk yourself. So you thinking that you brushing it off, but you just intaking energy that you don't even need to, So, and that's why I thought it was important to come out and say what I had to say about myself, so y'all know. And my candles, my candle business, my music, all of this is tagged below. This is why I do what I do, because I want people to get help. I want to be help. I want to be a light for people. I want people to look at me and see that you can overcome anything that even your mind is telling you. We create things that aren't real sometimes. Like, honestly, we got to be aware of stuff like that. So I appreciate y'all again for being with me and watching my journey this far, and I'm going to keep going. I'm not going to stop. This is definitely not the last time you'll see or hear from Queen Omara. Thank you again. This is episode number 10. Y'all stay tuned. We got 2 more episodes. The weekend is not over. And again, today, actually at 12, tomorrow on the 25th. I'm shooting this early, so y'all not even gonna see this. So I will be announcing the winner soon. So stay tuned. You gotta stay tuned if you wanna know who won. You know what I'm saying? So again, love, hugs, prayers, everything. Pray for people. Pray for yourself. Talk to God, because He's the only way, y'all. Love you, love you. Mwah.
If you see me, don't approach me. I don't know you like my folks do. I get paper, online money trading. Thoughts that keep me wavy, and I'm faded, maybe jaded. Like a missing, I misplace it. And no talking if no missions